Welcome everybody to Catfish Weekly along with Chad and Josh. I'm Lyle and boys. Fun show tonight.
We'll see. I'm excited.
I think it's going to be fun.
You guys had a nice weekend?
We had an all right weekend.
You was
Right,
fishing.
well, I did.
So it had to be pretty good.
I did some fishing yesterday.
D looked cold.
D was a little cold. kind of wondering if I'm going to lose my fishing partner for the wintertime or if she's going to suck it up. We'll see.
Well, you need a full enclosure with a heater.
Well, we get this boat right. That's what we're going to go with the bimini next and some kind of enclosure around the front end of it. So
Talking about right there. Yep, I love mine.
I've been eyeballing some online. So just waiting to get that Mark Rich Fish money so I can order them.
Oh, that's what it takes. I mean,
Yeah, you just got to have that mark money.
that's right. That's exactly right. Josh, what did you do over the weekend?
Oh, I think I ended up with the influenza that Christina and Caitlin and John had all the week before.
You
So,
can't pass that through the internet, can you?
I hope not.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm hoping not.
Wrong kind of virus, Pops.
Friday,
Oh,
Friday morning, I woke up freezing, and I said, "This is not going to be good," and it just kind of went downhill from there. So,
yeah, that's bad. Well, get
Pretty
healed up and feel better. That's the main thing. I'm kind of concerned. I have a 90-year-old mother-in-law that they think has COVID, and we're a little concerned about that. But we'll see how that works out. It was a home test. I don't know how accurate they are, but we don't want Irma to have anything bad at her age. I mean, well, I don't want it at my age, and I'm not quite there yet. So,
no, it was just enough. The bad thing was it was just enough to make you where you felt good enough to do something, but then you'd start doing something, and it was like, no, I don't feel good anymore.
yeah.
So I didn't
How
start.
work makes me feel.
You know what makes me feel better when I feel like that?
What's that? A nap? I took plenty of those this weekend.
They may always make me feel better. And the longer of a nap it is, the better I seem to like it.
I like me a nap as well.
Nothing wrong with a nap. Not
Chad,
at
what do
all.
you say we welcome some people into chat while we're
Sounds like a wonderful idea. We got Miss Pontoon Jody Catfishing. Good evening. I do believe a message was sent to me I think you're supposed to call Mark from Catfish and Crappie about getting you on the show soon. So make sure you do that. Let's move on along. We got Mr. Bump and Mike Greenwell, James Dockery Fishing, Jason Lamb, Van from B3 Customs. We got Mark Barnum, Nubby's Catfishing. Welcome. Mr. Mike Sampson. Hey, there's member Mark from Catfish and Crappie. Remember Jody? He wants you to call him. We got QC Brian B. Catfishing, also a member. Thank you, buddy. David Smith, Carolina Catfish. Troy from Real and Virtual Outdoors, Annette's Catfishing, Joe Buck 66. Fishing with the Squirrel. Mr. Parker Pursuits. I think I said it already, but my mind is, been a long day. Annette's Catfishing. Cody from 3+1, who caught a nice new PB this weekend.
Hey, Cody got him a new PB. What day was that? Sunday?
Sunday, 51 pounds.
I was watching that show. It was a great fish for Cody.
I don't think he would have been able to catch it if I wasn't on screen with him, but that's beside the point. We got Outdoors in Indiana with Dave Scott. Catfish in Fresno. 922 Crappie Barbecue. Scrolling. Mr. James Allball. Fishing with JBT. Real Catfishing. What's up, Jeremy? Trying to get down here. My wonderful wife, Get Hooked on D Fishing.
And she's a member too.
He is also a member.
Yes, she is.
She's so thoughtful and cares about Pops. Trying to scroll down here. Seeing all the same names here.
Did you get Van from V3 Customs?
I did, but I know he's your buddy. You want to give him again.
Yeah.
Here we go. We got Dale Hayslip, Valerie Irwin. I must have been way up there in chat. We've been yapping.
Chat's flying.
It is.
Miss Cindy Stokes. And I am to the bottom, fellas.
Awesome. Awesome. You know, Chad, for this time of the year, it is luckily tonight I have one tournament result.
Really?
I do. It's from, I'm looking here to make sure I get this right. Christmas on the Cape Fear River, Fayetteville, North Carolina, was won by Tyler Barnes and Justin Stringer, which goes by the name of Team Dinks, and they had 90.80 pounds. Second place was Catch 19. They didn't get these names all together, and it was James Harris, and he had 79.1 pounds. And Big Fish of 50 pounds. It was a flathead nonetheless. Third place was 55.1 pounds, and that was won by Kevin Harris. And those guys had it going on out there, man. I'm going to tell you, they had 26 boats in this tournament, and I'm going to tell you in just a second what first place paid. First place paid $2,326. Second place paid $1,560, and third place paid $400.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
For a 26 boat tournament.
That's a big payout for that small of a tournament.
Yes.
Well, Matt Calder sent them in. Thank you, Matt. We are so glad we can announce them. And anybody that ever has any tournaments that's upcoming, they want to get out to the public, we're glad to talk about them and tell everybody about them. Or if you have tournament results, send it to one of the three of us, and we'll gladly do that at the beginning of the shows. But we just don't have time to search them all out. There's too many of them, especially in summertime.
I will call one out here, Lyle. I got one that is kind of local to me and that I follow pretty close. I fish it from time to time.
All right.
But we have the Whiskey City Catfish Club. This was on Saturday out of Tanner's Creek in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, on the Ohio River. Mm-hmm. We got third place Kyle Finn and Jarrett Saylor with 42.1 pounds. Second place was Mike McDonald and Owen McDonald, 72 pounds even.
Nice.
And bringing in first place, Sean Tolson and Frank Armstrong, 96.2 pounds with a big fish of 55.6.
There you go. Pretty good return. Pretty good turnout there too.
And I bet they didn't hit nowhere near that $2,300.
I bet not.
Probably not.
Welcome, Mindy Hogan. Glad to have you in here. Potomac River Monsters. QC Bryan.
There's fish. There's JBT is in here.
He sure is. Uptown Chrissy Brown. Haven't seen her yet, but we got Chrissy. That's the better part of that bunch anyhow.
Ricky from Liquor Dreams. Good buddy.
Well, I'm glad we got some tournament results and got those out of the way. The tournaments are not quite as heavily populated this time of the year, but you know what? The temperatures in the 40s and 50s, that's really not that cold because a lot of us have fished a lot colder than that, and it's coming. James Dockery may get ice Thursday, and I'm hoping he does. He wants it so damn bad.
We had just under 44 degrees is what we're at Rivers at. It was like 43.6. We started that morning. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty chilly.
So it's came down a long ways.
Yeah. Big Wrench Catfishing, welcome. Dale Hayslip. Dockery says bring it on. He's just a glutton for punishment. What's wrong with him?
You figure that one out. You let me know.
Mr. Freddie.
Might have to ask your daughter.
Well, she can tell you a bunch of
Probably
stuff.
knows more about James Dockery than I do.
Oh man, she was drawn. She drew a picture of James Dockery tonight when we were sitting there eating dinner.
I know.
She always draws it to scale because she'll draw tack lines out there. This time he was 10 centimeters tall. So.
Okay, Matt. Thank you. Oh man, yeah, it was a nice weekend here. I know we've got some nice weekends and days coming, but
We got some nice cold ones coming too.
got a lot of cold weather coming. Yeah, January, February is for me. December, January, February are 3 months that are usually the coldest. But as the story goes, the 21st of December is the shortest day of the year. And from that point on, the days will start getting longer. And that's when I start liking it more and more.
Yeah, me
Exactly.
too.
We call that Stokes Day.
Okay. Welcome.
Lyle Stokes Day, the shortest day of the year.
You should call it Dockery Day then.
That
I
would be-
can't. Dockery's been too good to me. I can't pick on him tonight.
Well, dang.
I'll call it Dockery Day.
Look. Valerie, everyone, welcome. Does anyone on panel have hair at the top of their head?
Oh man, Cody, come on.
Cody, what's wrong with you?
Okay, so that's not how the ask me anything. Ask me anything. Once again,
Send him a link so he can show us what he's got.
There we go.
Cody.
I shave mine, thank you very much. That means it's a haircut.
yeah, that's what I do too. And then I check the
If you look, they're coming back.
yeah, Lyle, they're never coming back, buddy.
Yeah, no, mine will still grow in if I allow it to grow in, but I've shaved it since 2009, and I don't see any reason to stop. So
I wish the rest of mine would fall out. To be honest with you.
yeah.
Welcome, Kenneth and Michelle and Nina.
Oh, the glare. So we had a few questions way back at the beginning, and I ain't going back all there. You know, Mr. Mike Greenwell had put some questions in chat talking about, something about a hard fall.
Yeah,
You remember what they said, Lyle?
What was that?
What Greenwell's question was earlier about fishing a hard fall.
Yes.
What was his question then?
he asked about fishing the river on a hard fall.
Yeah, to me, I don't like doing that. I don't like a hard fall. I would much rather have the river rising. I don't care how fast it raises; it doesn't matter. But on a hard fall, the fish are looking for deep water to get out of the current, or a place they can get out of the current. And for me, that is behind wing dikes or in an eddy someplace where they can go in and take a rest from the current that they're fighting and grab them a snack. That's my thing. And I can't find Cody's thing, or I would invite him. I don't know where it's at, Cody. You have to send me your stuff. I don't know how it's.
I would have to text him. He doesn't have Facebook.
Oh, well, that's why.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah,
that explains it.
I'm gonna go the opposite way on that. I would rather, if I had to pick between the two, I'd rather fish a hard fall than I would a rise. Especially a fast rise.
Oh wow!
For the same reason that you don't like it is the reason I do. I know they're going to find deep water. I know they're going to be up in a hole.
They are.
Rising water is going to scatter them out.
It is, and they usually head to new brush, new wood.
They go.
I love to fish wood.
They go up that find something that 2 days before was out of the water. They want to go check it out. But
yep.
I'd rather have that. Now if I had my choice, if I get to pick, I want about 3 or 4 days of just steady, decent amount of current, but no rise, no fall. But you don't get it.
Not very often. You don't. Whisker and Dreams.
I'm not asking that message that I just got sent.
Welcome, Whisker and Dreams. Welcome, Redneck Outdoor Adventures.
I get a message.
Redneck Outdoors, Kentucky Redneck Outdoors. There was another one in here. David Smith, welcome. Parker Pursuits, I think we got him, but we're going to get him again. And Fish Flex.
Yeah.
I've never been successful on a hard drop. I just haven't. I know where to go. They only got one place to go, really. They're going to find deep water because they
find that hole.
That's it. They're going to be looking for holes of water. But I always try to catch them someplace behind a wing dike or in an eddy because They get tired of fighting that current, and that's another reason they go deep because the current's not as strong deep,
Hmm.
or as a rule, or at least my bait and sinkers don't move around as much. But I like them eddies and behind wing dikes and stuff. Of course, I don't know. A lot of these guys fish rivers that may or may not have wing dikes or as many of them
Yeah,
as
so we don't have those.
we got.
So
Lots of.
if I'm
Oh,
fishing something like that, I'm looking for, like, you're talking about like structure and stuff where you have, you say you roll your 30 and it drops down to 35. Looking for fish inside them holes and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
the scours and stuff from barges
yeah.
where they set and stuff like
Well,
that.
Chad, off the tip of a wing dike, off of a tip of every wing dike, if it's a straight one or an angle, not a box one necessarily, but all of the others, there's a scour hole.
It's
When
counter
that
Mhm.
hole.
comes
I
around there,
remember you saying about that.
yeah. Oh, not every one of those holes will hold fish, but a high percentage of them.
But the ones that do are going to hold good fish.
They will hold good fish.
I, that 44-pound blue that I caught out on the Mississippi that day come from behind a wing dike. So
Yeah. Bumping in cold water, is it time? Is it a waste of time? For me, anything under 50 or 45 or 50 degrees, I just don't do it. I don't think that you can bump slow enough to, and it's too hard to find
Well,
active fish.
I was gonna say, let me ask you this: suspend drifting. What's your coldest temps you ever do that with?
There ain't nothing too cold for that.
53.
I'll do
53.
that.
It's below 50.
Spin
Uh,
drift,
It's below
right?
53.
We had like high 40s, or it was like 46, 47 degrees when we fished the River Wars tournament, and that's how we caught most of our fish was suspend drifting.
Yeah, you set
I
the
don't,
slow.
I don't think you could. I don't think you can go out and give one specific temperature and it would work across the country.
No, and it's going to be different.
You
Yeah,
have to-
it'll be different at every place you go. Yeah.
You
Jeff?
have to understand your fish. There was somebody actually asked that on a Facebook group. I want to say it might have been Catfish in America, but I'm not 100%. They were asking about temperatures, and 52, 53 degrees is where I'm pulling it up and going to the anchor. That's just where I start to have trouble bringing them in suspend drift. And then what was neat was Terry Rogers, who taught me to suspend drift, came in there and chimed in with about the same temperature on that. So
Before we get to this next question, Lyle, the reason I asked, and I know there's a difference in technique, but what do you think? Why is there a difference between suspend drifting, no matter the temperature, versus not bumping below a certain temperature?
I just don't think you can target. I can't target the fish as well. If I'm suspend drifting or if I'm dragging baits, I've got them spread out. If you're bumping, you're in one line. Straight. No, that's it. So you have to be able to target what you're
you gotta
going.
know where those fish are. I mean, you're
Do that as successfully as you can, suspend drifting or dragging baits behind. Because I'm using planer boards either way.
well. You think about it. If you put out some boards, or even, let's say you're on the anchor, you're dragging baits, you're suspending. Any one of those, you've got multiple rods out. You've got accuracy by volume.
Right.
You put 6 hooks in the water, you've got 6 times the chance of getting that you would with the one bumping rod. Not saying that you can't catch a fish bumping in the wintertime, but you're probably not going to see me doing it.
Oh, Dieter, thank you so much. Welcome to chat, Dieter. Cody says, serious question this time. When fishing new water, how many bad trips before you give up on us? I'll go back to a place if I think it's holding fish a lot of times. I'll have several bad trips before I say I'm not ever going back there. I've been places on the Missouri River where I swore I would never go back. I've been there 8 or 10 times and not caught so much as a dink. And somebody will hold a tournament and we buzz up there and you lay out 150, 160 pounds of fish in the same place you had caught one all summer.
I'm saying,
yeah, if the money was right in my tournament days, if the money was there, I don't care how many times I've been there. I was going. But if you're fun fishing, it might weigh different. And again, I hate to get back to this, but if we're fun fishing and you're going to a place at $4 a gallon gas, how many times are you going to spend that money to go to that place to do it? I mean,
Well, I got news for you. I go to the Ohio River every weekend.
Yeah.
Still ain't gave up.
how far are you from the Mississippi?
He's quite
Yeah,
away.
what, 6-7 hours?
No,
18. My
you're about-
buddy.
you're about 4.
No
I'll
way.
go back to the place a lot of times, Cody.
I guarantee you're about
Especially
4.
if I know their fish are there. Say if Dieter Melhorn has been to that spot and he's catching fish, I know I can catch him if he can't because I ain't going to use that damn old chicken. I'll go back there a whole bunch of times just to catch fish that Dieter's missed. That ought to get him started.
There we go.
Good question, Cody. All right.
It says,
Whoa.
wow, it's only below 50-ish. I'm stunned. I ain't going to do that. I'm not going to anchor only.
Greenville. I went to a different. Went to a new place on the Green River. It looked good, but the fishing was horrible. To me, what was different about that than where you normally fish on the Green River and this time of year? If you were fishing in the deepest part, why? I'm a fan of cutting a river level in half. That's normally a lot of times, unless I'm trying to potentially, just go shallow, very shallow. I like to cut my river in half, which is why I love that 30 to 40 foot range, and that's my normal starting target of my river.
Me too. Dieter says, I think great spots only work 10 to 15% of the time, but when you're when they're on, nothing beats them. You got to strike out a few times to get a home run. That's kind of where I was at. I'll keep going back to a spot if I think there's fish there.
I won't spend a lot of time on one, but I'd be lying because there wouldn't be a Curse of Baldwin video if I didn't. Look how many times I struck out on that lake before I finally figured it out. So
yeah, that's a great fishery. Not necessarily for giant fish, but for numbers. It's got it going on down there.
I just wanted to post that. Congratulations, Big Ren's Catfishing, on your 22.4 pound chicken fish.
Chicken fish.
You got to congratulate a PB no matter what it's called.
That's right.
Good job.
That's exactly right. That's like Telly catching that big fish she did on chicken. They could call me up. It was telling me about it. I don't believe you. But I knew that she did, and it was a great fish, and we had a great conversation on the phone, and it was awesome that they caught a fish like that. And 22 pound, I'll take them all day long.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Oh,
I'll be honest, Lyle. If it wasn't for Telly telling me, I wouldn't have believed Chris. I was right there with you.
I had them both on the phone, so it was a fun call. I promise you it was. We had a great time.
What other questions do you guys and gals have in here in chat?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, don't be afraid to ask. What?
And it don't have to be, keep it clean, but it don't have to be fishing related. You can ask about if you're making videos, whatnot, want to know about what gear, recording gear and whatnot. I'd be happy to talk about that. Or
Now Dieter has a damn nickname for it, the chicken coop.
The chicken coop. Sounds like a support group.
Doctor, maybe we'll save that question for the end, so I have my end broadcast button ready.
Doctor, send it to me.
Dieter, you're too much, buddy. I guess everybody probably got their results from their year of YouTubing
I'm not.
stuff
Yeah, that came in
today.
yesterday.
I got mine today, and I would like to say that the most popular video that we had this year was the one where we had Keith and Dieter on there and Bob Brett talking about uh, YouTube and videos and equipment and how to edit and all the stuff that we talked about that night with those guys. It was a long show. People asked a great deal of questions, and that was the number one video show watched on Catfish Weekly this year. So I want to thank Peter and Keith and Bob for doing that with us. It was a great show. We had a wonderful time doing it.
Yeah.
I did get one of them emails.
You didn't.
I don't check my email very often, apparently.
It doesn't sound like it.
I just happened to be on there. Let's see what mine was.
Fishing with Big Mike. Welcome. Carolina Catfish.
I'm on the wrong thing over here. There we go.
Question for the posse. How do you see live scope and other forward facing live sonar technology affecting catfishing in the future? That's a great question. I don't think it's gonna make a big difference. I'm not sure, and because I don't have it, don't have a desire for it really, how well it works with catfish. And I know the crappie guys, they're in love with it.
See, to me, live scope, other than catching bait, I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah,
If I'm going to set something up, if I'm dragging baits, across the lake or up a river, down a river, whatever, and I want to see where them fish are that I'm coming up at, or potential, snags, because I am the king of snags when dragging baits. And maybe I would do something with side scan, but not something like live scope, That'd be about the way I would use it.
Dieter says, by the way, I will come on the show anytime, but I've been 8 to 12 months to grow a comparative beard.
Hey, Dieter, you know as well as any of us, the one Lyle has right now between that ain't nothing but the one he's going to grow before the next 12 days. So
yeah.
It'll be quite insane by December 24th.
Danny Stone says live show should be banned from tournaments unless everybody has it. There's a lot of people that think that.
I don't know though. You think about that.
Makes that big a difference on anything other than crappie and panfish myself.
Live scope gets a bad rap. I don't have one. Don't plan to buy one. I just don't. With what I do, I don't think it would help me as much as it would.
No.
There's better places to spend my money.
I agree.
But to say, hey, you can't have it unless everybody has one. Okay, well let's take it a step further. You can't run side scan unless everybody has side scan. You can't run Navionics unless you got to have.
You got to draw the line, or you don't.
Tournaments are all about a competitive edge.
That's exactly right. If you can't afford it, Josh, and you're going to fish tournaments, and you need to find 2 or 3 sponsors that'll help you buy it.
Yes,
you're going to be competitive, especially in crappie tournaments. In crappie tournaments, I don't see you be able to be successful without it.
No, I've got a coworker of mine, and he loves it, and he crappie fishes. That's what he does.
Yeah,
and it's awesome for what he does. But for me, other than catch a bait, I don't know what I'd do with it.
But the more I'm sitting here thinking about, it's running through my mind, actively somebody that's anchoring, especially in the wintertime and stuff like that, where maybe you're anchoring up over a hole and stuff like that, being able to see down to it, that may be an edge. But I don't think it's something I would use, like I said, in other techniques.
I like this question.
What's the number one tip for someone looking to fish their first catfish tournament in person tournament?
In-person tournament. Go out and have fun.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Go out and have fun. Because Christina and I have fished tournaments where, we're I'm competitive. We fished tournaments where neither she nor I have had a real good time, and we fished tournaments where we've both just gone out and fished.
Yep.
Mhm.
We've done a whole lot better when we just went out and fished.
I think
Yeah.
you can take it too serious.
It's easy to do, and once you do, you start second guessing yourself. You'll
Oh
start
yeah.
nitpicking yourself, and before you know it, 3/4 of your time's gone.
I'm going to tell you, Josh. Every time that I turn a last minute change, we have a plan going in, and I change my mind the morning of the tournament, thinking that I had thought it wrong, and those are the days we usually done the worst.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Change your mind last minute, think you
Last minute and
yeah.
give up on.
Overthinking can definitely kick you in the rear end.
Spend a bunch of time pre-fishing, looking for fish, not even catching fish, just finding spots, and then at the last minute you change your mind. Most of the time, it'll bite you in the ass.
Hey, we've tried to force a pattern that wasn't working, just because in the past it had, and it's like you go back there to like, okay, I'm not catching nothing here. I'm not catching nothing here, but maybe I'll give it a little bit longer. Don't be afraid to
No,
jump ship and go do something. I mean, the one that we fished, the one that Christina and I fished back in September, wasn't a very big tournament. That was the one that Josh Fuller put on at Wren Lake. But we were dragging baits. That was working for us. We got our 5 fish. We decided we wanted to try to cull. So it's like, okay, let's go find some shallow water and anchor up. We weren't getting anything there. We went back to dragging, culled 2 more fish. But
there you go.
don't force a pattern if it ain't there.
I think the number one thing that I use in tournaments is side scan. I love side scan, and for me, until I'm proven wrong in the depths of water that I fish, I don't think anything can change my mind about that, whether it be down live scope or what, because I'm not sure that it works as well for catfish as it does bait fish. But man, if you're going after bait and it's hard to get, I'm thinking that's the action. I
Yeah.
really do. I really do. But Danny says, Cody, tip number 1: don't put lead in the fish.
That is true.
I'm thinking that might bite you in the butt.
You get away with it for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they catch you.
I mean, besides that I think that is a great number 1 tip, Josh, is to have fun, but afterwards, just mingling with people and kind of getting
Yeah.
a feel for what's really going on around there.
Yep.
Don't ask people too many questions beforehand, because they're not going to give you all the secrets.
Yeah, they will.
They're not.
But they are pretty friendly. Most are pretty friendly.
They won't give you specific places or anything, but most of them will tell you what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually told people where we was going to fish before, not thinking about it, and them beat me to that spot.
I would have.
Yeah,
Oh,
but it only happened once or twice.
Yeah.
But I never did worry about it, because we always had 3 or 4 places we was planning on going. And if somebody beats you to one, you just go to the next one.
yeah. That's that is one
But-
thing we've.
We'd go to St. Louis one time with a guy fishing, and the first 3 spots we went to, somebody beat us to. And I was getting a case of the ass that day. I'm not kidding you. And then I reeled in a fish. It was on his rod, and I never thought anything about it. And it was just a dink, 3 or 4 pounder. And I just went to lift it up with the line. The line broke. So I lost the first fish of the day. So it tells you how that day went.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say this: going into a tournament, having a pattern, it fills you with a lot more confidence having a working pattern than it does having a really good spot.
That's right.
Somebody can beat you that spot. Now we pre-fished for a tournament at Wren Lake about 3 or 4 years ago, and I was on midnight shift at the time, so I'd get off work in the morning, I'd hit the lake, and I hit a different boat ramp on Wren Lake every day for about a week pre-fishing for this tournament, and started repeating the pattern that I had working for me on day 1 all over that lake. So I knew no matter what happened come launch morning, yeah, okay, you beat me to my spot, but I can go right over here and they're still biting there too. We had a working pattern and we ran away with that one. So
There you go. This Dee says you can learn a lot just by listening to people after the tournament. That is
that
so
is,
Yeah.
very true.
I mean, honestly, that's what got me really into being how far I've come so quick with the boat in 3 years is learning from those guys that I started fishing at tournaments with and just
Another
sitting and
place,
talking
another
with them.
good. If you're staying in hotels and stuff at tournaments, and the parking lot every night out there, people talk, and the more they drink, the more they tell you. You just
Yeah.
gotta listen.
Oh yeah, but I mean, from learning different rig setups to
Spot what
techniques.
they're looking for. They might not tell you
Yeah.
where they're fishing, but they'll tell you what they're looking for. And if they're on
Exactly.
fish and they're catching them, then you need to really listen to what they're looking for and fish that. See if it works for you.
Yeah. When it's coming from somebody that bank fished for 30 something years to jumping onto a boat, finding those people that said, "Hey, let me take you out and I'll show you how to drag baits. Meet me at this little lake and we'll do it."
That's right.
Went out, had fun with them. He told me all kinds of stuff. Then he said, "Hey, meet me at the river next weekend. I'll show you how to suspend drift." People will teach you all kinds of different stuff, and then you can go out and make it your own and learn how to really do it.
I like Dieter's comment there. He ain't wrong either. If a tournament comes from great tournament fishermen that did terrible, they will tell you everything they did right, even where they fished, in an attempt to justify their abilities. That is the truth.
That is a fact. Cody says, "Okay, last question. I'll stop monopolizing the stream. How many fish do you call a pattern?" I say 3. Yeah, that's a great number.
Yeah, one could be a fluke, 2 could be okay, but yeah, if you're catching 3 or 4 fish, and I'll pack up and move after I get that.
I usually don't take 3 or 4. If I'm finding the fish and you catch 1 or 2, I'm out of there. I'm going to the next spot and I'm going to look for a place just like that one, or as close to it as I can find. And that's how you find patterns.
I have tried to figure out a good way to even just take and be able to put baits out there without really having a hook. That way they ain't going to hook up. But
you can also, if you're worried about sore lipping fish, which I never did, but if you're worried about sore lipping fish for a tournament, take a safety pin your bait on to your line below your sinker, and they'll tear that apart, get the bait. They'll be back for another round again.
That's a good idea.
I think with that question too, talk about a pattern. What kind of pattern are you looking at? Are you catching? If you're going into a tournament and you're catching 3 to 5 pounders, is that the pattern you want?
All right. If you're in a channel cat tournament, it might be crazy.
Well, that'd be great. That'd be a nice little average in channel cat tournament.
I'm telling you, I'm looking for when we go out. If we're in a tournament and the biggest fish in whatever area we're at is 5 pounds, that's the fish I'm targeting. If it's 50, that's the fish I'm targeting. It just depends.
We go out. I want, if you got a 5 fish limit in the tournament, I want my 5 fish. They could all 5 be a pound, but there is something about having your bag full and know that the rest of your culling.
Yeah. Oh yeah, get your limit. Get the limit and then cull.
Get your limit and then, man, culling just the pressure's off because I got 5 fish no matter what.
There you go. James Allball says, "I ain't gonna lie. I throw bait on a hook and say a prayer and throw it out there. Works for me."
That's the way to go.
Glad to see you in here tonight, Crazy Cats. Tim Molina, welcome. There's Uncle Lou. He's made it. I think we said hello to Kenneth, but hello, Kenneth, anyhow. And Cody, don't worry. You don't have to stop asking questions.
No, go right ahead, Cody.
Keep answering them. You keep getting them personal best. We're going to be asking you them questions.
Exactly.
Truth.
Any fin is possible. I think this is someone new. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, I've seen any fins around.
Glad to have you in here. You're welcome every Monday night at 7 Central.
Or 8 p.m. God side. That's Eastern.
Oh,
What
we
are
got
you
a new
talking?
member.
Yeah, David Scott, welcome, buddy.
Hey, Dave, glad to have you in here also, sir. New
Thank you,
member.
Dave.
That's awesome.
Don't be afraid to change it up at a tournament. Amen to that.
I would like to mention that we appreciate all the thumbs up. If you like what we're doing, please hit that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, consider doing so. And if you really like what we're doing, there's a join button down below. You can hit that and join and get some perks and stuff. And we're awful glad to have you in there. Mark says, "What's the best reel ever made for catfishing?" 6500 Abu Garcia, without a doubt.
I would agree.
What's that, Josh?
I said I knew that's where you were going with on that one. So.
I mean, I just don't think there's a better reel on the market. I really don't. But then again, I'm a little biased. I got a whole bunch of them.
You got one that I want.
I'll tell you another one that I like. It's not an Abu Garcia. It's a Daiwa 67 line counter. The only thing wrong with them is in the line guide that goes back and forth on the what you call it, that runs back and forth as you reel it in. It's got a piece that pops out, and you can't get the damn things.
Oh man,
that's the sad part about them. But they last. I've never wore one of them out. That line guide has come out of two of them. It's just a little hard piece of whatever they're made out of, and it'll come out, and then you lose them, and you got to have it in there, or you're going to wear out your line. But man, them things last, and they cast awesomely. I've got pins, Mark. I've got pins, and I love them. I really do. Them pin fathoms are outstanding reels, but they're not a 6500 Abu Garcia.
Well, and that's the thing too. You're gonna have personal preference, but
yeah,
you got to look at too. What are you talking about with catfishing?
Well, if you're in an area where the biggest thing you catch is a 10-pound channel cat, you can use bass reels.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of guys use bass reels for bumping. I personally don't recommend it because they must not be into very big fish, because 50 or 60-pound blue in current on the Missouri or the Mississippi River will rip one of them bass reels up. I don't care which one it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of places on like Truman Lake, Lake Ozark, all the lakes around me. There's not very many fish in there that you can't catch on a good quality bass reel.
Bass reel just don't have the line capacity for bumping
or the drag.
People do it. People catch fish on it. So there ain't nothing wrong with that. There's Freddie.
I think there's just so many different things you can look at with that, with the low profiles.
What does the LL mean?
The what?
What is the LL? Mark says Pin Fierce 6000 LL. Is that the thing?
Pin Fierce 6000.
Oh. Pin Fierce. That's a live liner. That's a spinning reel. That's basically a live liner is on a spinning reel. It's like a clicker on a bait caster.
Okay.
You've got two drags. You can put that weak drag and it'll hold that. When they'll start taking, you flip that switch. I want one of those reels.
Well, Mark says that's his go-to, so it's probably a pretty good reel.
I would say that's a good one.
Danny says he's got a pin, and when he casts it out, it squalls. Maybe all Mississippi mud in it. Yeah, they make oil for
live liner.
You can clean them up.
Yeah, you got to be willing to clean a reel.
I have a PC Fun, Freddie, that is a fly reel that I dearly like. I got it from Matt, and it is a great reel. Have had zero issues with it, but I've not tried any of their bigger stuff for whether it be bait fishing or catfishing or whatever. I haven't tried any of their bigger stuff. It's really hard for me to not have an Abu because, like I say, I got a shelf full of waiting on me. And what is it, the 6600 Pro Cats? I've got some of them that's never been out of the box. So,
Just wait till I come visit.
Come on, big boy.
Oh,
I'll be like, you got a pretty reel.
I do have it. That's right here.
Cindy, take him for some biscuits and mustard.
Oh, we love.
But there's, yeah, I don't know. I have stuff like the Puma low profile, the Boom low profile, the Piscafun round reels, the Ancient Mariners. I do like those Piscafuns. They're seeming to work pretty good.
That's what I'm doing right now, Danny.
I sent a message to a guy the other day that does a lot of them. Well, I didn't send a message to him. I invited him to send me a message in chat. Now, whether he takes me up on it or not remains to be seen. But I think that Thomas would be a good one to get on here and talk about. You and him could go to town, Josh, on reel repairs.
Tearing reels down, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That'd be really cool. I think that is something that we should do more of. Just my opinion. Talk about maintenance on rods, maintenance on reels. Doc Lang, every spring, tears every reel apart he's got. He has got, I know for a fact that Doc has got Abu Garcia 6500s that's 25 years old, maybe older. But every spring, he tears them all apart, cleans them, oils them. If they need anything, they get it then, and he's done for the whole year. Does it every year.
That's what I need. I need this one done.
That's not a 6500.
No, this is 7,000.
It sure is.
This is one that I have had for over 20 years.
Yep.
And
Does it work?
Yeah. It needs cleaned, and it needs maybe the worm gear redone.
The worm gear?
Yeah.
And if you're putting a worm gear in it, put a new pawl in it.
Yeah. Go ahead and do it all.
Yeah.
I would say this. These are cheap at Harbor Freight. They are excellent for cleaning. This is that ultrasonic cleaner.
Oh, I thought it was a radio.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the boom boxes. I was waiting for him to put it up on his shoulder and start.
But no, it's just a little ultrasonic cleaner.
Yeah, I can see where that'd be a great deal.
Man, those things are.
Yeah.
You get them for, I think they're like $75 at Harbor Freight.
Well worth that.
But they really get your reels clean, and they've got a heated function, so they'll heat that water up even more than what comes from the tap. So
very nice. Dave says his 6500 Chrome Pro Rocket Abu that they cast a country mile. I don't have a chrome one, but I have several of the black ones. Now, I can say they're still new in the box, but I may get some of them out and try to use them. I traded a rod for 3 6500 Abus, the blue ones. I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. I used one of them on 2 trips and never used it. The other 2 still sitting there with the line on the head when I got it. Chad has one of those to wash all his gold.
He probably does. Yeah, I tell you what, those ultrasonic cleaners. Once you buy one, you realize that you'll just throw anything in it. You get a carburetor that's giving you trouble, throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner. Let that thing do the work for you. So
the first one of them I seen was, we had one at a GM dealership I worked at when they come out with diesels, and we had to take the injectors apart and clean them. And they sent one of those as part of the package to be able to work on diesels. So we tear injectors apart, put them in ultrasound, and put them together, and they go bad again. After about the 3rd time, I just started putting new injectors in them. Screw. Yeah. That was back in 1978, 79, somewhere along in there. Long time ago. You guys are even born.
How much did you say those were, Josh?
They're about, last time I think I paid like $75 for it.
That's not bad.
I bet Mark has 3 or 4 of them, of those, with all the money that he's spending of Sheila's.
And being Harbor Freight, when you buy it, pay the $5 or $6, whatever, for the 1-year extended warranty. And if your Harbor Freight's anything like mine, they'll tell you, hey, you bought this in May, come back and see us in April and say, hey, there's something wrong with it, and they'll give you a brand new one, and they'll give you the option to buy another extended warranty for about another $5. So you get a new one every year.
There you go. Uptown Chrissy Brown, member for 18 months. Thank you, Chrissy. Appreciate that.
Cheers, Chrissy.
Tom says the Black Edition Pro Rocket casts better than all of his 6501s or 6601s. Are them left-handed? The 01s is them
All
left-handed?
ones are left-handed.
That's what I thought. I didn't know Tom was left-handed.
See,
But
I
I
like
love
the,
that Black
I like
Edition. It's a good-looking reel.
I like the 6600s. I'm
Yeah.
not a 6500 fan. I don't like that little push button on the side. I like that thumb bar.
Well, I got them both.
That's personal preference. I mean,
yeah, it is. And if you're used to one, the other will never feel right.
and I want to say that with a 6500, isn't it like a 5-to-1 gear ratio on those a lot of the time?
Do what now?
I said the 6500, isn't that a 5-to-1 or 5-something-to-1 gear ratio on that reel a lot of the time?
I think it is, yeah.
I think it is.
But now you can change those.
You can change it, right? I mean, it'd be like a 6600 to come out. It'd be like a 6-4-to-1, something like that. It's a little bit faster reel. So
Hang on just a second.
any reels past that mark right there. Come back here. It says cleaning reels passes the bad weather days. That's the truth. You know, we're going to get into that time where it's going to be nasty out, be ice, snow, whatever else.
I got a message here from Big Wrench, and he's wanting to know about the 20-pound stickers. Buddy, if you will send me your address, I will send you one. The only requirement you have for the very first one is to make a post and put a picture up about your fish, and I'll send you one. Just send me your address.
It is a 2.5 liter ultrasonic cleaner, and I'm going to drop the link to that in chat.
5.3 LG Bass says to 1. Van says 5.3 to 1. Van probably knows. He's very up to speed on the reels.
I was thinking it was a 5-something.
Yeah. Michelle says Tom isn't left-handed, but he prefers to cast right, reels left.
I would look like the person with one of them spinning reels upside down.
Hey, now you know what? When it comes to that,
Can't do it. I can't do it.
Like all my bait casting reels, they're right-handers. But the first thing I do with the spinning reel is I move that handle over to the right-hand side also. I never have been able to figure out how people use a bait caster with it on the right and then they use a spinning rod and start reeling with your left.
I don't understand it.
I'm left-handed and it feels unnatural to reel left-handed.
I don't have a bit of trouble doing that. I've always used
Big Ridge says it's on Facebook Live.
Okay.
Chad just throws them in the water. He don't really.
I just throw them.
That and phones.
And
Shut up, both of you.
Steve Ransom says, Chad, don't you cast right-handed?
I am right-handed, but I reel with my right. I don't know.
I do too. I reel with my left with the spinning reel.
You know,
I can't do the left on the spinning reel. It's all got to be on the right-hand side.
Back when I started doing it, they didn't make switch. They didn't switch back and forth.
Back when you started fishing, they used a stick.
Well, what's your point? They called that bamboo. Cane poles, buddy.
oh, fellas.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to remind everybody that after the show, Mark has a couple of good quality guests talking about electronics on his show, Catfish and Crappie Podcast. Be coming on right after we're through, so you want to make sure that you tune in for that. Creel says, years ago, I had a gold Abu high speed that I bought in the early 2000s, 6,500, I think. Yep, I had 2 or 3 of them. They didn't have much line capacity.
They sold them at Walmart. It was like the best deal you could ever find. I think I still have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always been a thing for me with the round reels is find one with line capacity. That's one of the reasons I went to Penn at first is how much line I thought they held and all this and that. They held way too much line for me.
Yeah,
But don't ever try to fill it up with braid.
Oh God,
I
don't
can't
ever
even
put braid on
imagine.
it.
Yeah.
They don't act right. The Penn Squall 20 does not act, at least for me, does not act right with braid. It's a mono
Really?
reel.
Oh, yeah, well, even the 20, the 15s are the smaller ones. They will
Sean.
still hold probably
Sean,
twice as
good
much
job.
as an Abu.
Sean, I cooked that fish.
Nice.
Hey, Betty Jean's in here.
Betty.
Listening while driving. Well, be careful driving.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, Creole, if I remember right, they didn't have a lot of line capacity on that gold one. They was thin.
Yeah, I had to look mine
I had
up.
some of them, and that was the reason I got rid of them because they didn't have old enough line for me. But they was good reels.
Mm-hmm.
They was pretty too. They really was. What else we got going on? Anybody have any other questions?
I'm not seeing any more questions in chat. I'm not sure if Jody is still in chat, but I just want to remind her that Mark wants her to call him after his show tonight to discuss being on his show later on. I don't know why he won't just ask himself, but whatever. But he will be on right after us tonight with Russell. Is it Russell Marine?
Russell
Marine. That's going to be a good show. That
will be a great show tonight.
He's had them on before, and they are great guests.
They're awesome.
Yeah, Josh from out there at Russell Marine is sharp. He knows his stuff.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. So.
Oh, really, David? Patriots are good looking. I've been looking for one of them.
Patriots.
Remember the Patriot Abu that we gave away last year?
Oh, yeah.
That Freddie ended up with. That was donated by David.
Oh, really? Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I begged and pleaded, and I wouldn't even leave his transmission shop trying to get one of them, and he ended up kicking me out of the shop and said, "Don't ever come back."
Nice.
That's kind of funny, actually.
I begged. I every once in a while I still text him like, "Hey, buddy, got any of them Patriot reels?" And he'd be like, "Not for you." Like, whatever.
Whoa. Creel says his dad still has an old 50 or 5000, a black 5000C with factory power handles and a green. Really? I'd like to have that green 5000D.
Mm-hmm. I've got a couple. Actually, right over here. Two of the 5000. I think one's a 5600 or maybe it's a 6000. But I'd like to get power handles added to them.
I would like to. I've thought about buying 5000 just for channel cat reels.
That's why I bought these. I swindled my uncle out of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the problem is I got all them 6500s laying up there that just drawing dust. Might as well use them.
Well, like I said, you ain't took. I'm bringing a shopping basket when I come out to visit.
I used to fish with a guy named Keith Atkins. He's a great friend of mine. He just recently got remarried, and we don't see each other very often, but we'd fish fun fish, and we'd fish tournaments together. This is before Cindy started fishing tournaments. And Keith would get in there, and he said, "You got any hooks?" And, of course, I'd have them by the 1,000. That's how I buy them. I'm used to. Mm-hmm. And he'd go in there. Hey, what kind of sinkers you got? And when he'd leave he'd get there, tackle box would be empty. When he leaves, it'd be full. And this would happen every month. And I didn't care. He's like having an extra son that you didn't know you had. He was a great guy. We had so much fun. While he was doing that, I was able to cut up a thing of stink bait and setting it behind him in the boat so he could try to figure out where that smell was coming from. But he had some of the greatest times, and he was a great guy to fish with. Danny says he's got an old 3300, caught a lot of fish on it. Yeah, I've got several of them too. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. What we got here? I like GPS coordinates for all.
I was going to let him know that somebody just weighed in a 55.6 at Tanner's Creek where he fishes quite a bit.
Very nice.
There we go.
I've got some 733 Hoss reels that Cindy used to use all the time, and I made her quit because we was fishing in big tournaments, and I didn't want people making fun of her. But I'm going to put them back on rods for her because she likes to use them. And
Is that the direct drive ones?
yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, just when K&B comes in, it's about time to end the show.
you better hurry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get. Notice we said you can ask. You're not guaranteed an answer.
That's right.
But
I would like to remind everybody that if you haven't already, to please hit that thumbs up for Mr. Lyle. It's free.
It didn't cost anything. We're glad to have them. We're at 64 tonight. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you're interested in joining the group, there's a button down below, and you can do that too. I'll leave it be tonight. Well, oh, man.
I think that's one of the first time he has ever been quiet.
yeah,
Really? You think?
there's Mark spamming the chat.
We had a great show tonight, guys. We wasn't sure what was Danny Stone, remember, for 11 months. Booyah. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it very much. Danny's a good friend. He does a lot of good things for the sport. And you guys haven't watched the river guys that he fishes with on the weekends, you need to be sure to check those guys out because they have a lot of fun.
Yep, they do.
Well, prayers for your mama, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin, prayers, brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Chad, you have a guest for Thursday night on the bait shop?
Nah.
No?
Not yet. Haven't thought of one yet.
Yeah, I don't have one either, but Mark should be back, and we should be raring to go Thursday evening after the bait shop. We'll be on at 8 on Panfish Nation. Of course, we'll be right back here next Monday night at 7 Central Time. And we'll have to talk about what we're going to do for next week. But we're going to do something. We're getting close to Christmas time. Rod building question.
Yeah, there's one
what
for you.
would cause an aluminum reel seat to get loose and rotate on the blank? They didn't put enough glue on underneath of it when they put it together. That's or the wrong type of glue and it come loose. That's the only two things that'll cause that. And Jeremy, get with me and I'll tell you how to fix it.
Dad, or just when you come up to go ice fishing, when you're going to pick Lyle up to go to Dockery's house, just bring it with you. He can do it while you guys are out there on the water.
Just leave it. Jeremy, just leave it next to the milk and cookies on the night of the 24th. It'll be
there.
fixed.
You go.
Be fixed when you get up the next morning.
Yeah, that's.
Well, we got 2 shows before Christmas, fellas.
That's about right.
Yeah, we got the 19th and then the 26th.
Oh wait, no, we got one.
One show before Christmas.
One show before Christmas.
It'll be a barn burner next week. You guys are not going to want to miss it. We're going to come in here. We're going to have a lot of fun. I think you're going to want to attend.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Yeah, we're going to play the James Dockery song too.
Oh yeah, the Dockery song is good.
Yeah. Yep, we'll do that. Be sure to tune in next Monday night. You'll want to do that. I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. Be sure to turn in over and watch Mark, Catfish and Crappie. Guys, you got anything else?
I have nothing else.
No,
Have a great week.
This week.
Thanks everybody for watching. See you next Monday.
Yep. See y'all.